Hey y'all, what's going on? Today I'm back with another video. This is me filling out ESPN's Tournament Challenge Second Chance Bracket. I'm sorry I never actually filmed the March Madness video. I know I said in my previous T Predicts video that I said no matter what, I would get a video out for March Madness, and then I didn't. So I'm very sorry about that. I just didn't really have time. But here I am having time now to fill out the second chance, and it's probably a good thing I actually didn't fill out a bracket and put it on YouTube, because the 4 teams I'd go into the Final Four, I think there's only one team left that's still in it, and that's not Gonzaga, it's Baylor. I had Gonzaga going out in the Elite Eight to Iowa, and Iowa got beat by Oregon bad in the second round. So, yeah, my other Final Four picks were Illinois and Texas. And I think I already said Baylor, which Baylor's still in it. Yeah, Illinois lost to Loyola, so that was great. And then Texas lost to Abilene Christian, so those were some very bad Final Four picks. Yeah, so at least I still have my champion pick still in it, but that doesn't matter. You didn't see it, so I mean, I'm not lying, because why would I be lying about those 4 picks? I mean, they're not good. If I was lying, I'd tell you I would have freaking Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor, and some other team that's in the bottom, Syracuse or something, Houston. I don't know if I was lying, but yeah, I'm not, because I have a horrible team. The teams that did horrible in the tournament that made the Final Four. But anyways, I want to stop rambling. I'm going to fill out my Tournament Challenge Second Chance. Yeah, the first matchup on the west side of the bracket is Gonzaga versus Creighton. Creighton was a team that I actually thought was going to get eliminated in the first round of UCSB, and they almost did. And then they somehow won that game. And now they're in the Sweet 16. I did not expect them to make it this far, so I'm going to go with Gonzaga in this game, because I just don't see Creighton winning this game. Next matchup, USC versus Oregon, 2 Pac-12 teams. And man, the Pac-12 has been so impressive in this tournament. I mean, everyone talked about the Big Ten and the Big 12 were the best 2 conferences all year long. There's one Big 10 team left, and there's one Big 12 team. They started with 9 and 7 respectively. So that's insane. And 4 Pac-12 teams left. Obviously, one of them is going to have to lose in this game. The way USC played against Kansas was unbelievable. The way Oregon played against Iowa was unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know who I would have winning this game. Off the top of my head, the way USC looked against Kansas, that is going to be hard to pick. I'm going to go with I accidentally clicked Oregon. I'm going to go with USC in this game. But I would not be shocked if Oregon beats USC. You know, 2 teams who have played each other several times in the Pac-12. Next matchup, Michigan versus Florida State. A tricky game for Michigan. However, I'm a Michigan fan. I'm not going to be picking against them in this matchup. I'm going with Michigan over Florida State, but I would not be shocked if they were to be the next 1 seed to drop. Up next, Alabama and UCLA. UCLA is looking really good so far, and Alabama's also been looking good in this tournament. I don't really know who to pick in this game. I think I'm going to go with Alabama. I really don't want to pick all non-upsets, but I mean, I had Alabama in my bracket that I actually cared about the most. I had them losing in the round of 32 to UConn as an upset, but UConn didn't even make it out of the first round, so that wasn't ideal, I would say. So I did not see UCLA going this far. I didn't even have them beating Michigan State in the first round, but since it was Michigan State / UCLA, you could pick. I ended up having UCLA go to the round of 32, and obviously that happened, but I didn't have them going as far as they did. They only had to play Abilene Christian in the last round, so I mean, I got Alabama in this game. I think they look very impressive. Now let's go to the top right side of the bracket, the South matchup. Number 1 seed Baylor versus number 5 seed Villanova. Villanova was a team I had going out in the round of 32, only because I thought they would beat Winthrop, maybe, but I thought there was a chance they would also lose to Winthrop. So I really didn't know what to do in that matchup. Villanova's kind of had an easy path so far, only having to play Winthrop in northern Texas. I think Baylor's going to give them a rude awakening. I don't think Villanova's... I think that, honestly, the 2 Big East teams that are in the Sweet 16 might be 2 of the worst teams in the tournament. I mean, obviously, Oral Roberts, but I mean, Oral Roberts is looking really good, and they've had to play much harder teams than Villanova and Creighton have. I'm going to go with Baylor in this game, because they're my champion pick. Why would I not pick them? I got to keep going with them. I don't know if I'll pick them for my championship game. I haven't got there yet. Arkansas versus Oral Roberts. I will be rooting for Oral Roberts in this game no matter who I pick, because I love to see the upsets. However, I'm not seeing upsets. I don't think this 15 seed is going to be able to go on past the Sweet 16. I have Arkansas. I think it'll be a close game, but I was shocked Oral Roberts was actually able to beat Florida, because usually when we see upsets like this, they're just not able to get out of the second round. However, Oral Roberts was able to get into the Sweet 16, and I really hope they win this game. I'll be rooting for them. I just don't really see it happening. I got Arkansas in this game. So far I really have picked not a single upset. Here we are at Loyola, Chicago, and Oregon State. Either way, I see this game as a total win for whoever goes to the next round, because either way, in my opinion, it's an upset. So Loyola and Oregon. Loyola is a team that's been to the Final Four before. They were there a couple years ago. Oregon State, has not been there. I don't know when they've been there last. It's probably been a long time. I'm sure they've been there before. I don't really know off the top of my head. But Oregon State, since the Pac-12 tournament, they have looked impressive. Who'd they beat? They beat, first round, Oregon State was able to beat Tennessee, the 5 seed, and then in the round after, they were able to beat Oklahoma State, which I thought would have a good shot at knocking off Illinois. I thought they were the best team from the Midwest, in the Midwest region to knock off Illinois, but Loyola obviously handled that themselves. I would love to see Loyola keep going on. I think there's a good chance they do. They're actually favored in this game because they're actually a higher seed in the Sweet 16. Who would have thought that? But I'm going to go with Oregon State. I think the Pac-12s look too good, and I've only picked one so far to go to the Elite Eight. I think we're going to get probably 2 Pac-12 teams in the Elite Eight. Maybe only one. Well, we're already guaranteed to get 1. Would not be shocked if we get 2. That's why I'm picking Oregon State in this game to beat Loyola Chicago. Yeah. The next matchup, Syracuse versus Houston. Houston barely survived Rutgers. Syracuse, I swear, is always good in the tournament. I don't get why. They just always are. And, in my bracket, I think in one of them, I had them going to the Sweet 16. And the one that I cared about, which still haven't seen, I had them losing in the first round of San Diego State. So I had them all over the board. I didn't have them going past this round. However, the way Houston played against Rutgers makes me a little concerned, and the way Syracuse has played the past couple games makes me confident. I'm going with Syracuse in this game, meaning we will have a 12-11 matching up in the Elite Eight. Just for context, in the east side of the bracket, over there, we will have Michigan and Alabama, 1 and 2 seeds playing, and on the Midwest, 11 and 12. Imagine that. That would be insane if we had an 11 and 12 facing, and that's a very realistic probability, and that's why I'm picking them to go there. So that's definitely the team that means if these picks happen, we'll be guaranteed to have at least one team in the Final Four that is a double-digit seed. Well, we actually only have one, because if this all happened, we'd only have one. But at least we're guaranteed to have one. In this matchup, Gonzaga versus USC. Gonzaga looks so good. I think I may have underestimated them coming into the tournament. I watched some of the regular season games, and they just didn't look that great, in my opinion. But now that they're looking impressive, I'm going to go with Gonzaga in this game. I think, USC obviously had a dominant win over Kansas, but I don't know. There's something about Gonzaga. I think it could be their year. It could not be their year. We'll have to see who I pick. But I think Gonzaga in the Final Four is a very realistic possibility. Michigan and Alabama, I really don't want to pick all 1 seeds in the Final Four. That's the problem I'm facing right now. That's probably why I had Texas in the Final Four, because I didn't want all 1 seeds. But now I have to pick between Michigan and Alabama, and I got to go with Michigan. I just have to. I don't see how I could go against Michigan, in my opinion. They look like a very good team. Obviously they're missing Livers, and I wouldn't say they're looking like a great team. Not as much as they were at the beginning of the year. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just biased because I'm a Michigan fan, honestly. But, yeah, I think that's a very realistic probability. I keep saying realistic probability, probably because I just had stats class like an hour ago, and I had to take a test. So that's probably why I keep saying realistic probability, because that's a very fancy word. I think Michigan's going to beat Alabama. I hope they do. I hope they don't lose to Florida State. Michigan fan. I don't know why I pointed at my shirt like I'm wearing a Michigan sweatshirt, but I do have a Michigan sweatshirt somewhere. Yeah, Gonzaga versus Michigan in the Final Four. That'd be a tough matchup, but I'm not going to talk about it yet. Still 2 more games before we talk about that matchup. Baylor versus Arkansas. Arkansas is a team I had going out in the round of 32, the second round. So, I'm not shocked they're here because they played a very close game with Texas Tech. I kind of wish Texas Tech won that game because that was a matchup I would have gotten right if it happened. But as for Baylor, I think Baylor looks really impressive. Do I want 3-1 seeds in the Final Four, though? Unfortunately, even with all these upsets, I think that Baylor has to go there. I had Baylor in my Final Four originally. I don't see how I can not pick them now. Because, I mean, that's the only team I have right. So they're the only team that I can actually really rely on anymore. Final matchup to see the Final Four is an 11 versus 12. So I have 3 1 seeds in the Final Four, and then either an 11 or 12 between Syracuse and Oregon State. Syracuse is always good in the tournament. However, the way Oregon State is playing right now and the way the Pac-12 is, I think there's got to be at least one Pac-12 team in the Final Four, and that's why I am picking Oregon State to go to be a 12 seed and make it to the Final Four and play Baylor. I mean, honestly, I think I'd be shocked if we don't get an upset from the Midwest. The only team that could really ruin the upset plans in the Midwest is Houston. And if Rutgers would have beat Houston, we would have had an 8, 12, 11, and 10 in the Midwest. And either any way, we'd be guaranteed an upset in the Final Four. But Houston could ruin our plans. Although I hope Syracuse ruins Houston's plans of making it to the Final Four. They're easy plans they think they have. But even after all that, I think Oregon State's going to be the team coming out of the Midwest. If they beat Loyola, honestly, I think honestly, in my opinion, the winner of Oregon State and Loyola is going to the Final Four. Unless Houston beats Syracuse and maybe Houston gets to the Final Four. But I think we have to have at least one double-digit seed in the Final Four. With how this tournament's going, it just makes sense that that's what happens. All right, Gonzaga versus Michigan in my Final Four. Michigan fan, however, I got to be realistic. I cannot doubt Gonzaga's abilities. Gonzaga looks so good. I think they knocked Michigan off in the Final Four to make it to the national championship. And they will play the winner of Baylor and Oregon State. For Baylor and Oregon State, man, I picked Baylor to win the national championship. My predictions. Would love to see Oregon State in the national championship and win the whole thing because honestly, I love upsets, and no one would have saw that coming as Oregon State being your national champions. However, I'm going with Baylor in this game because I feel like destiny is just here for Gonzaga and Baylor to play in the national championship. They started the season 1 and 2 in the AP poll. They were supposed to play early on in this year and didn't get to because of COVID. I think just everything's there for a perfect story tale of Gonzaga and Baylor playing the national championship. And as for who I'm going to win the championship, I keep talking about in this video, Gonzaga looks really good. However, I've learned you don't go against your gut feeling. And my first gut feeling when I filled out a bracket, as soon as they were released, I had Baylor winning the national championship. I'm going to stick to my guns, and I will be picking Baylor to win the national championship over Gonzaga. Of course, in my matchup that I didn't have Baylor versus Gonzaga in that matchup, but now I do. I think Baylor wins the game. Now I got to fill out a final score. What should the score be? I'm going to do 79 to 73. We'll do 79 to 73. Baylor wins. I'm going to submit the picks. And yeah, that's the end of this video. So once again, sorry I didn't make an actual March Madness video where I filled out the whole bracket. I only did the Sweet 16. Next year I'll plan on doing it. If I'm still doing this channel, I really have no clue because it only has 23 subscribers. So if you would like to hit the subscribe button, help a small YouTuber out, it would mean the world to me. It really would. Anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all later. Peace.